Sometimes the most beautiful stories come from the smallest acts of love. This is the story of Tina, a 12-year-old girl whose innocent heart turned a forgotten tragedy into a miracle. A story of a stray dog, $7, and a bond so powerful that it teaches us what humanity truly means. Tina lived in a quiet little town, the kind of place where doors were left unlocked and neighbors greeted each other by name. Her father was a hard-working man, often returning home with tired eyes after long shifts, while her mother was a gentle soul who always carried a smile. But Tina, she was different. She had a heart too big for her age. While other children played games or worried about toys, Tina noticed things others ignored. A bird with a broken wing, a hungry child in the street, a stray dog wandering alone. Her heart beat for the forgotten. One golden afternoon, as Tina walked home from school, her backpack bouncing on her shoulders, she noticed a crowd gathered near the market stalls. Curious, she stepped closer, and there, lying weakly on the dusty ground, was a dog. Its fur was matted and dusty, its ribs sharp against its skin, and its once proud frame now shrunken from hunger. But it wasn't the body that struck Tina, it was the eyes. Eyes that held a storm of memories, eyes that spoke of pain, loneliness, and a longing no words could ever capture. Tina's heart sank. She felt an ache deep inside her chest, as if the dog's suffering had reached into her soul. She whispered softly, almost to herself, "He just needs someone to love him." Before she could move closer, a man standing nearby spoke, his tone sharp and cold. "You want him? He's yours for $7. Otherwise, he goes to the shelter tomorrow. And trust me, dogs like this don't last long there." $7. To the man, it was nothing. To Tina, it was everything. She didn't even have a single coin in her pocket. That night, as her father dozed in his chair, exhausted from work, Tina's thoughts kept circling back to the dog. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't eat. She kept seeing those eyes staring at her, begging silently for one more chance. Her gaze drifted to her father's coat hanging by the door. Slowly, nervously, she slipped her small hand into the pocket. There, folded and forgotten, were the bills. Her heart pounded. She knew it was wrong to take money without asking, but she told herself this wasn't stealing. It was saving a life. With trembling fingers, she pulled out 7 crumpled dollars and held them tight, whispering into the darkness, "I'll bring him home." The next morning, with determination shining brighter than her years, Tina marched back to the market. The man smirked when he saw her, holding out the money with her little hand shaking. He took it, muttering, "He's yours now. Don't say I didn't warn you." And just like that, with 7 wrinkled dollars and a heart full of love, Tina carried the weak, broken dog into her world, never knowing that this act of kindness would change both of their lives forever. Before we go further, if you're enjoying this story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories with the world. Now let me ask you something educational and meaningful. If you are proud of your country, if you carry love for the place you call home, drop your country's name in the comments right now. Let's see how many hearts from around the globe stand together in this moment. Tina named him Bruno. At first he was weak, too tired even to lift his head properly. He barely touched the food Tina set in front of him, and when he tried to drink water, his paws trembled. But Tina was patient. She would sit beside him for hours, stroking his matted fur and whispering, "You're safe now, Bruno. You're home." Day by day, something changed. His ribs no longer showed as sharply. His fur began to shine. His bark grew stronger. And most of all, his eyes lit up whenever Tina came near. Those eyes that once carried pain now carried hope. But then, strange things began to happen. One afternoon, as Tina played in the yard, a car backfired loudly on the street. Most dogs would cower or run, not Bruno. His body stiffened, his ears shot up. He stood tall, alert, like a soldier ready for battle. When Tina laughed and raised her hand playfully, Bruno didn't just wag his tail. He sat down sharply, eyes locked on her, as though he was waiting for a command. Confused, Tina tried again. She lifted her hand, pointed, and to her surprise, Bruno obeyed perfectly, sitting, lying down, even circling her with precise movements. But what startled her most was when she spoke a random word she had read from a school book. Bruno reacted instantly. The word wasn't English, it was German. Tina thought it was a funny trick, but her father, he noticed. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Tina's father stood by the window, watching Bruno. Tina raised her hand, shouted, "Sit!" and Bruno obeyed without hesitation. Then she giggled and added a German word she had picked up from class. Bruno obeyed again. Her father's face went pale. His hands trembled slightly as memories rushed back. He knew this wasn't an ordinary dog. Quietly, he whispered to himself, "It can't be." Finally, he told Tina the truth. Bruno was no stray. He was one of the military German shepherds, highly trained for war. 4 years ago, during a brutal battle, Bruno and many other dogs had been declared lost, presumed dead. They were the loyal companions of soldiers, dogs who had run into danger where no man could go. But somehow, Bruno had survived. For 4 long years he had wandered through forests, villages, and lonely roads, scarred by explosions, haunted by gunfire, forgotten by the very army he served. And yet, against all odds, he lived. Now, thanks to a little girl's 7 crumpled dollars and boundless love, the soldier dog was no longer just a ghost of war. He was Bruno, and for the first time in years, he was home. Tina and Bruno became inseparable. From the moment she opened her eyes in the morning until the stars came out at night, Bruno was by her side. Every morning as Tina walked to school with her little satchel bouncing against her back, Bruno trotted proudly beside her, head held high, as if guarding the most important treasure in the world. He would wait just outside the schoolyard gate, lying patiently until the final bell rang. And when Tina came running out, his tail wagged so furiously it looked like it might carry him into the air. In the evenings, when the sun dipped below the rooftops, Bruno's silhouette could always be seen at the family gate, ears perked, body alert, eyes locked on the road. The moment Tina appeared, his composure melted, replaced by joyful leaps and excited barks. It didn't matter if she had been gone 5 hours or 5 minutes, his happiness was the same. But their bond was deeper than routine. At night, when darkness wrapped the house and Tina's dreams sometimes turned into storms of fear, Bruno was there. The moment she stirred or whimpered, he would press close to her bed, resting his heavy head on her arm. His warmth and steady breathing chased away her nightmares, replacing them with comfort and peace. Tina told Bruno everything, her dreams of becoming a teacher, her fears of growing up, even the little secrets she never dared to share with her parents. She whispered them into his ear, and though he never spoke, he listened. His silence wasn't empty, it was full of understanding. The neighbors noticed. Some smiled and said Tina was the luckiest girl alive to have a guardian so loyal. But others weren't so kind. They whispered in hushed voices, "That's not just any dog. That's a war dog. Dangerous, unpredictable. What if one day he remembers the battlefield?" But Tina never wavered. She didn't see a soldier hardened by war. She didn't see a survivor scarred by battles. She saw her Bruno, the dog who wagged his tail when she giggled, the dog who stood guard when she slept, the dog who loved her more purely than anything else in the world. For Tina, Bruno wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a stray. He wasn't a shadow of war. He was her friend, her protector, her family. And for Bruno, Tina wasn't just a girl. She was the reason he kept living. She was home. This story is more than a tale about a girl and her dog. It is a mirror held up to humanity itself. Tina didn't see a war dog. She didn't see a stray. She didn't see the scars or the past written across Bruno's body. What she saw was simple, a soul in need of love, and she gave it freely without conditions, without hesitation. Bruno, once a soldier, once abandoned, once thought dead, found something the battlefield could never give him. Not discipline, not survival, but healing. And that healing came through the innocent heart of a 12-year-old child. We, as a society, often forget this. We are taught to measure worth by history, by mistakes, by appearances, by labels. We forget that compassion is not about who deserves it, it's about who needs it. Tina's innocence reminds us that true love doesn't keep records. It doesn't ask questions, it gives endlessly and unconditionally. How many Brunos exist in our world today? Not just dogs wandering the streets, but people? People scarred by battles we cannot see. People carrying wounds of war, of poverty, of loneliness, of rejection. They walk among us, broken, forgotten, overlooked. And yet sometimes all it takes is someone like Tina, someone willing to look beyond the scars, someone willing to reach out a hand, even with just 7 crumpled dollars and a heart full of kindness. Bruno's story teaches us this. The smallest act of compassion can turn despair into hope and strangers into family. Love is not weak. It is the strongest force we have. If a little girl could see worth in a dog the world had written off, then perhaps we too can look around us and find the Brunos in our own lives, those waiting silently for someone to believe in them again. And so Tina and Bruno's story reminds us of a truth too often forgotten. Compassion has the power to rewrite destinies, not just for animals, but for people, for communities, for the world itself. If this story touched you, don't let it fade away. Subscribe to this channel, not just to follow stories, but to remind yourself that love and kindness are choices we can make every day. Like this video, because pressing that button is more than support. It's a way of saying you believe in compassion, even in a world that often forgets it. Share this story for stories like Tina and Bruno's carry lessons that textbooks can't teach. When you share it, you're planting seeds of empathy in places you may never see. And finally, in the comments below, tell me, what's one small act of kindness that changed your life? Remember, your answer might be the spark that inspires someone else to choose kindness tomorrow.